Hey everybody, it's Zach. Welcome back to the Heroverse. And guys, I just got back from seeing DC's Blue Beetle. Guys, this movie was 2 hours and 7 minutes. There was a lot going into this movie. There was a lot of, for me especially, I don't really know. I just want to get this out of the way. For me, I do not know much about the character of Blue Beetle. This was me just going into this movie, fresh of really not knowing much about the character. Previously, also, this is a DC character that, not many people know about. It's not one of those, classic staples from DC, like character wise. This was just a character not many people knew about. And I was one of those people that didn't really know much about Blue Beetle. I mean, I think I got introduced to the character, I want to say back in Smallville. There was an episode where we got introduced to the character of Blue Beetle. And crazy enough, I found out in this movie that Jaime Reyes isn't even like the first Blue Beetle, as kind of like they're kind of making things out to be. I would say really of pushing this character going like and making this movie. There was a lot of notion that a lot of people thought that, oh, I thought Jaime Reyes was actually the first Blue Beetle. Going into this movie, actually Ted Kord apparently is the first Blue Beetle. I did not know that, and they kind of like explain that in the movie that Jaime Reyes is not the first Blue Beetle. I wouldn't even say that that really is necessarily a spoiler, because this is going to be like a spoiler review. I'm actually going to like do spoilers in this review. This won't be a spoiler free, but I would say that wasn't even really a spoiler. But this is going to be a spoiler review. And yeah, like I said, I cannot lie. This movie was just okay slash good. I wouldn't say this was some great movie. My predictions for this movie, were it would get like probably somewhere in the 70s, somewhere in the 80s on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't really trust Rotten Tomatoes. Sometimes I like to see what they put up. And I go in with that notion of like, oh, is Rotten Tomatoes actually correct about this? Whether it's like bad or whether it's a good rating. And I was like, you know what, this is probably good. And like I said, I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes, but like the consensus of what I heard about when people saw this movie for when the early reviews came out for this movie is a lot of people ended up liking this movie. They said it was really good. They said it was very, heartfelt. They said the action was really good. They said it's a solid story. And I would just say, honestly, I thought the movie was just okay. And of course, there's definitely, you can't really like see this movie without making comparisons to other, comic book movies, because there is a lot of comparisons in this movie to other comic book movies. It's just you can't not notice them. And it's one of those things where I feel like there's going to be a lot of people talking in their reviews about there's a lot of comparisons to other comic book movies, and it almost waters down this movie, because it's like almost we've seen a lot of the stuff that we see in this movie we've seen in other comic book movies, mainly a lot of Marvel movies. I hate to say it, but there is a lot of comparisons to other Marvel movies, and that was one of the things I was like, damn, like this is kind of watering down the kind of energy of the movie, the kind of flair of the movie, is that honestly we've seen it before. And that was really the thing that kind of sucked when I was watching the movie. I was like, oh my god, like it's like we've seen this stuff before. Not even like if you can see what I'm seeing with like you can watch this movie and you cannot help but make comparisons to other movies. It's more like we've seen everything in the trailers and the TV spots. Like this movie kind of, was spoiled in a way by how much promotion they were throwing at us, trying to get us to even know and acknowledge that this movie is coming out. As we all know, the SAG strike is going on. There will be some people that will blame this, will blame the SAG strike for, the reason that this movie won't do good. I think that's bullshit. I think in reality, it's like, no, you promoted it, whether it's the actors promoting it or not. Like, no, there's been so much promotion for this movie. It's just people need to understand there's a lot of people that just won't care about this movie, because one, it's a character that a lot of people don't know and didn't even know it like existed. Two, it's going to be also people not really giving a crap because they're really confused about where DC is. Like, because I'm going to be honest with you, even though we had the Flash movie, the way the Flash movie ended, I was super confused with George, spoiler alert for the Flash movie if you haven't seen it, but George Clooney pops up at the end of the Flash movie, and that kind of like makes you super, super confused on like where like DC is going, even though the Flash movie was supposed to be like a reboot for James Gunn's DC. And really, initially, like, especially with also Shazam and where it is canonized or not canonized in James Gunn's universe or not canonized in James Gunn's universe. The end credit really made people confused with again spoilers for Shazam Fury of the Gods if you haven't seen it, where Hardcore and also Autonomous end up popping up trying to recruit Shazam for the Justice Society of America. There's just a lot of confusion, and that's one of the reasons why people don't really want to go see this movie. And also, three, you know, it's a lot of people might look at the trailers and be like, we've seen this before, but done better by other comic book movies, aka Marvel. So when I was watching this movie, I was like, I went in, because I couldn't help, even like from seeing the trailer, I could not help seeing a comparison with the family dynamic, comparison to Miss Marvel. I was like, oh my God, like I do see a lot of, comparisons to Miss Marvel, like especially with how much the family is involved. I saw that in the trailer, and even me going into the movie, I was like, it wasn't doing it for me in the trailer, and it wasn't doing it for me in the movie. Like, we start out with a cool opening title card sequence to this movie, where we kind of get the backstory of the Scarab and how it's an alien creature, technology, and we just see the history of the Scarab, and then we get to the title card, and then from then on out, we're with Jaime. He's coming back from college, and he has to be caught up on what his family's been up to. And I can't lie, a lot of those sequences with the family, I was just bored. I really felt like they were trying to really get us to like the family, and I just didn't care much about the family dynamic. I found those to be the slowest parts of the movie, especially it was for majority of the beginning of the movie we are with the family and like not much is really happening. And then we get like a jump cut to like where Jaime is looking for a job after college, and he's like, "Oh, just wait. I understand that we're going to be losing our house. We lost the garage, and Dad had a heart attack. But like, just wait. I have a not I forget what he had like, but he had like a almost a degree in being a lawyer or something like that." And he's like, just wait. I'm like, the big money's going to be coming in. We're going to have, a big mansion, and we're going to have like a big pool. Just wait. And it's like a jump cut to, of course, the trailer where we see, of course, Jaime with the all white on with the sunglasses looking towards, us as the viewers of the trailer. And, it ends up, he is scraping gum at this, at this rich person's house. So it's kind of like, like I said, we got a lot of like spoilers in the trailers, and I was kind of like, why? Like, I don't really care that we're spending all this time with, like, it's like we're spending too much time with the family, and then we're watching Jaime like scrape gum from the bottom of the chair with his sister. I didn't really care for his sister, I cannot lie. I felt like his sister was very annoying, especially like the one joke about her saying, "Oh, I deserve to take a luxury shit," and she wants to use like the rich person's bathroom. And it's kind of like, I just felt like that was just like one of those jokes. I was like, why did this need to be in here? Um, Weirdly enough, a lot of the jokes with George Lopez did not stick. George Lopez's character, he is the uncle, I think, of Jaime, and his name is Rudy Reyes. And I honestly just thought George Lopez did an okay job in this role. I really expected a lot more comedic, elements from him because he is a comedian. George Lopez is the GOAT. I expected to really laugh, but mainly a lot of the movie was just him screaming. I did find it funny, like the one part where Jaime takes his taco truck. That's what he calls it, the taco, and he has to look for Jenny, which of course we know from the trailer. Jenny is his love interest, and Jenny is the one that gives Jaime the scarab in, of course, the big belly burger box. Which again, like, a lot of this movie was spoiled by the trailers and the promotion. I feel like you could have promoted the movie without spoiling everything. And I feel like nowadays there is such a thing of over promoting a movie, over promotion. But I feel like I never felt it more than in for this movie. I feel like a lot of it was just spoiled, especially the great action set pieces that were in this movie. And I'm gonna be honest with you, like I said, like, the truck ends up getting destroyed. Or I guess the tailgate ends up falling off, and like, Jaime and Jenny are inside. After he found her, trying to get the scarab off. Like, it's like, how do we get the scarab off? And of course, we hear, Rudy outside, aka, George Lopez, flipping out because his tailgate fell off, and that his prize, baby, the taco truck, got destroyed. He calls it the taco. I don't know why he just calls it the taco. His like souped up truck. But that was super funny. He was just screaming. I thought that was funny. But other than that, that was like the only funny moment I thought was like really funny. Besides the part where he's screaming because the scarab jumps on Jaime's face, we've seen that in the trailer. I was like, okay, it's not as funny. I just feel like also a lot of jokes that the family jokes in this movie, I just didn't get. They flew over my head, a lot of them, and I was just like, damn, like they're really trying to make us like this family. And I thought to myself, really, I actually, I was not a fan of Miss Marvel, but I was like, I actually prefer, the family dynamic. I feel like it worked better in Miss Marvel than it worked here, in my personal opinion. I felt like it was a little, because again, I did not like the Miss Marvel series. I didn't. But I felt like for the family element, it felt very natural and it felt like the jokes actually hit when they needed to, and it felt like there was a lot of emotion there. I didn't feel it as much when, especially Jaime found out about his father's heart attack. I found out about the garage being sold and the house being sold. I just didn't feel the emotion as much. And I can't lie, like, there is a sequence in this movie where Jaime's father dies. And I can't lie, like, that was a sad moment when the Jaime's father dies and Jaime is being dragged away by the two villains of this movie. Of course, one of the villains is like, he's like the henchman of Victoria Cord. She's the main villain. And then, of course, Carapex is like kind of her minion. And, when they're dragging Jaime away, from his sister, being at his father's side, laying on the ground having a heart attack after he got hit by one of the soldiers because it was like Victoria was like sending out her soldiers to get the scarab. That was sad seeing Jaime being dragged away, his father dying, and his sister being there, and he wants to be right next to his father, but he's being dragged away, and their house is burning down. I mean, they were losing it anyways, but that moment where like there's a lot going on, that was very emotional. But anything even after that, like when we get the big sequence, because we end up finding out the only way to get the scarab off is by Jaime dying. And there's a moment where, of course, they take Victoria and also Carapex take him, try to drain the scarab for, I guess the code, because again, this is a world killing alien creature slash alien killing like device. And that was one of the point where like they're draining the scarab from him, and that's like making him, like, I guess his vitals like get very low to the point where like Jaime is dying, and he ends up having a face to face with his father. And I can't lie, I didn't care. Weirdly enough, I just did not care. That's a moment of the movie where you want your viewers to care, like, because I cared about the father dying, but like when the father showed back up to say to Jaime, like, I understand why I died. This was my purpose, because I mean the whole movie is about purpose and where you and like where you fit in and what's your purpose. And earlier in the film, when Jaime was talking about to his father about, oh, we're like, it'll be okay about losing the house and everything like that, like everything will work out. He's like, we have a purpose. Like, my purpose is to be there for you and help you as my son get through all of the stuff that's happening about us losing our house, and just telling you that everything will be okay. And also his purpose was to die, so that way Jaime will realize that this is his destiny. This is his destiny calling about, everything happens for a reason, and him being chosen by the scarab is the reason. Like, I guess with him dying was the thing to have Jaime, start his journey as the Blue Beetle. That's what needed to happen. So it's kind of like that moment's supposed to be a very touching moment, and I was like, I couldn't but not compare. Like, okay, we've seen this in Guardians of the Galaxy, but it hit more. And again, it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's very hard, like I said, to make a movie like this when a lot of other movies previously that came out in the superhero genre, they've already done that stuff before. Like, we already had a villain like Carapex, aka Whiplash in Iron Man 2 with the lightning whips and in the big suit. We had that. We really had a big, fight between someone in a bigger robot suit fight against someone in a smaller suit. Iron Man 1. There's just so many comparisons. It's like you cannot not make those comparisons and see what movies did it better. And this movie just feels like like a, like just like the, like a, not like as success, version of all those other movies, comic book movies that came before. And it's like, I guess I just didn't care much about Jaime as a character. Weirdly enough, I just didn't, and it just sucks because, like I said, I love Xolo Manadadueña. I thought he did a great job playing the character. I just felt like there was not a lot of connection for me to connect to that character. Again, Xolo's a great actor. I love Xolo, especially I got introduced to him in Cobra Kai. That he is the reason I went to go see this movie, to support him, especially because like I said, he's a great actor. I met him actually at Steel City Con. My photo's back there. If you guys can like see it, like over by like right over there. I met Sholo. He's a really nice dude. He's awesome. And you could really tell he has swagger in this role. I just felt like for what they gave him, there just wasn't a lot to like cling on to for me to actually like be interested to see this character return. And like I said, the world building in this movie, especially like of us going to Palm City and it's like all futurized and kind of like has holograms. Like I don't see this is one of my problems because it's like I don't know because James Gunn has said this is the first DCU movie to kind of kick off his universe, and then he's backtracked saying Superman Legacy, excuse me, what is going to be the first start of the DCU. I'm super confused because if this is the first start, how are we not going to explain how there's futuristic Palm City and like I don't know if that's how it is in the comics. Again, I didn't read the Blue Beetle comics, so I don't know if that's how like Palm City is. And also this is one of those things where it's like I felt like that world building of Palm City I just felt like was bland. There wasn't really much energy to it. You know what I mean? Because people also were talking online saying that like the world of Blue Beetle with Palm City was just really creative, and like also James Gunn I guess came out saying that like what's gonna make him stand out against Marvel is like the world, like the different like not worlds but like different cities and places that really stand out but like against Marvel. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you have Gotham City, yeah, you have Central City, and yeah, you have the was it I'm like totally blanking Metropolis. But like Palm City, I was just there was no like energy to it. There was no really like world building of that world of Jaime Reyes and Palm City. There just was none. When you compare to also like the world building of of Talokan, and also and the world building of Wakanda, and just even just the essence of when we're even in Ant-Man with can't even remember like in I always forget the name of it in not Central City I want to say, and I'm blanking, but the world even where Ant-Man lives. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's like there's a lot more just world building when you start a new movie. You really want to build up the world or build up the city, and I just felt like you did those changes, but it's like, how did they happen? Like also like what do these changes mean? Like stuff like that. I just felt like it just was there. There was really no explanation on how Palm City became like that. There just was no explanation. And it really is confusing me if James Gunn's just going to make these places without really giving them like a lively feel to them. Because yeah, you could do Gotham City, but if you don't do Gotham City, you make it have like a vibe and a tone. It's like like that's a character in itself. Like Palm City should have been a character in itself in this movie of bringing in this new character that not many people know. This is the first introduction to the character of Blue Beetle. You want to make like his city feel alive. You want to make it feel interesting, and you want to make it feel unique. I just felt like, oh, there was holograms. That was it. And it was just, it really upset me. I was like, you really need to play with this element if you're going to do this. Like, just don't do it. Make it feel like a character in its own right. And it just really bothered me that I felt like it was just, it was just there. It was just something to look at, and then that was it. I was like, okay, cool. But the action was the best part about this movie. Like I said, it just like it felt very slow in the beginning, and then once the action hit, again, it was action that we've seen in the trailers, but the action was top notch. The action was really cool. But like I said, you can't help but make comparisons because a lot of the action sequences we've seen before in Iron Man, and you know what I mean. And it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, okay, like you got to try to kind of like put it aside and be like, okay, like there are some things here that we haven't seen in Iron Man, of course, because there's some unique things that Blue Beetle is doing. I was like, oh, okay, cool, like it's standing apart on its own enough where it's like a replication of, oh, that's just Iron Man. There was some cool things he did, of course, with his legs, but I thought to myself, my sister pointed it out, where that's kind of like what Spider-Man did with the Iron Spider. It's like it's been done before, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. So it's one of those things that I did love the action. The action was the one part about the parts of the movie where like actually Jaime had the scarab on and he was kicking ass. I was like, okay, I love this. This is really cool. But that was the only thing I really felt like I really enjoyed about the movie. It's like this movie was supposed to make us like everything. The movie was supposed to make us fall in love with Palm City. This movie was supposed to make us fall in love with Jaime and who he is as a character. This movie was supposed to make us fall in love with the family. I just didn't feel any of that. I was like, okay, this just feels like your every typical, DC superhero movie. And I hate to say it, but like there's been two DC movies that came out this year. Actually, no, three technically, because with the Flash movie. So the big thing I was really excited to like talk about is out of the three movies, which movie was better? Was it Blue Beetle, Shazam: Fury of the Gods, or the Flash? And if you guys have ever been here part of the channel before, you guys know I hate the Flash movie. I didn't want. I saw the movie, did not like it, and also I didn't support Ezra Miller. And it was one of those things where it's like, I love the Flash character, and it was one of those things where I was like, I was not going to go unless my sister bought me a ticket. She bought me a ticket, and I wasn't going to go and until my brother wanted me to go as a birthday present to him. So it was one of those things where like I only liked one sequence out of the Flash movie, and it was when we had Michael Keaton's Batman kicking ass in the Russian facility. So other than that, that movie was trash. I expected that. The Shazam: Fury of the Gods movie, I did not like the trailers. I thought the CGI looked bad in the trailers, and I also thought, just the trailer did not make the movie really look interesting. I thought the trailer kind of showed a lot of the movie, but when I went to go see the movie, I actually really enjoyed the movie. Crazy enough, I laughed a lot in the movie. I of course knew about the Gal Gadot cameo as Wonder Woman, but I still enjoyed Wonder Woman showing up at the end. And also the character of Billy and what that character goes through in that movie, I thought was more, I felt like was more like I felt more for what the character of Billy was going through in that movie about, spoilers for Shazam: Fury of the Gods if you haven't seen it, but him being, afraid of everybody abandoning him because he had like pretty much his whole entire life was, people abandoning him. And, that's why really that was the heart and essence of really why, really what that movie was about, him wanting to keep the family together, the Shazam family together, because that's the only family he has, and he didn't want to get abandoned again. And there was a more to that, especially to that ending, that really actually, I can't lie, made me tear up. I did not have that here. Crazy enough. That for a movie that I expected to do bad, actually was really good. I know a lot of people don't like Shazam: Fury of the Gods, but I really enjoyed that movie. I thought it was a good movie. And I mean, it's one of those things where I thought the story was going to be bad. I thought the CGI, the CGI, of course, didn't look iffy in a lot of sequences in Shazam: Fury of the Gods, but the story was the key element of the movie that made that movie good to me. And the story is the most important part. The action and the action is just like the second thing you think of. It's like the main. If the story doesn't work, it doesn't work. The action, it doesn't matter of how good the action is. So it's one of those things where it's like I really enjoyed Shazam: Fury of the Gods. It was one of those things that surprised me, and I was shocked it surprised me. Now this movie, like I said, I was interested because I was excited to see Sholo. I thought if anything he's perfect for this role, because I definitely think he was perfect for this role. I just think that the writing was not good to really like make me connect to that character. And it was one of those things where it's like I just thought the story was just I just thought it was just okay. It was an okay origin story. And like I said, you can also make comparisons to like Homecoming. And I was talking to my sister. I was like, you know what? Like I would rather watch Homecoming over this. We both agreed on that. I would rather watch Iron Man 1 over this. I would rather watch. I wouldn't say Miss Marvel over this. I'd watch this over Miss Marvel. But if I would that's in the sense of like the action, but like also the like. I mean, not the family dynamic, but just the action in this, because I thought the action was better than Miss Marvel. But yeah, it's like it's one of those things where it's like it's been done before. This movie just feels like it's just been done before, but better. But like I said, the action was such a standout part of why I enjoyed the movie. Like I said, guys, like I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was okay. I don't think it was anything. I don't think it was anything great. I don't think it was anything fantastic. I just thought it was just an okay, good movie. It was good by like just the action alone. Which again isn't great. That the only thing that really made me like this movie is the action. Like I said, I think the story is better in Shazam: Fury of the Gods, and I think that I wouldn't say the action is better over there, but I think the story and the character development I think was better than it was here. Which like I said is crazy because like I said I did not like that trailer. I did not for Shazam: Fury of the Gods. I did not think the movie looked good, but it surprised me. This was one of those things where I thought, okay, like people are enjoying it. Oh, like I want this movie to do good, especially because I'm going to support my bro Sholo. and it just was just all right. It was an okay movie. I thought if anything, he was the standout of the movie. Was Sholo playing Jaime Reyes? I thought he was a standout. I think the actress that played Jenny, I thought was a standout. I thought they were probably the biggest standouts of the movie. And and I think without them, I think this movie wouldn't have done it for me at all. I think it's that swagger that Sholo has that makes this character, you know, just fun to watch on screen. But like I said, I wasn't able to really relate to that character. But like I think him alone, Sholo, as great as he is at acting, I think that's what made him very charismatic. Very charismatic on screen. You know what I mean? Someone that I enjoy watching. I mean, of course, because I enjoy watching him in Cobra Kai, and I enjoyed watching him here. I just didn't really feel a connection with that character. But I think he is really the reason that this movie really worked essentially and was enjoyable because he gave like a swagger to Jaime Reyes that I really did enjoy. Like I said, I couldn't connect to the character, but I thought you look really cool. You give like a cool vibe about Blue Beetle, and I just thought it worked for that. Like I said, and Jenny, I thought was really really cool. I thought the character was cool. I like her as a love interest, and I thought again like the actress that played Jenny, I thought she did a great job. And I think, like I said, that they were like the highlights with the action that made this movie like bearable, like at least a good time, you know what I mean, and the scenes that counted. But it's one of those things where it's like I said, that I think the story alone in Shazam Fury of the Gods, especially the villains, I think in Shazam Fury of the Gods were better, the story and the villains, and also the story arc for Billy was better than it was in this movie. I do think that it's crazy, like I said, guys, like it's crazy. If you've been here part of my channel, you guys know I did not give a shit about Shazam Fury of the Gods when all those trailers came out. I thought everything just looked bad for that movie, and it was a surprise. This movie did the opposite for me. I was really, actually like, okay, I think this movie's gonna be good. People are saying it's good, and I'm looking forward to seeing Sholo in this role. And this is gonna be so-called the start of the DCU. I think this is gonna be great movie. It just so happened to just be, it was just okay. It was enjoyable in the action sequences, but other than that, it's nothing that we haven't seen before. Now the real question is that the end credit sequence, we end up finding out that Ted was it was it Ted, no, I forget what I forget the name of the first Blue Beetle. It's like Ted was it like Ted Cord, I think that's his name. We end up finding out that he is actually alive because in the movie apparently he is dead. So that's gonna be very. I guess it's gonna be very interesting to see. I guess where that goes. They kind of are leaving the door open of like, oh, in case this movie does good, we're gonna find out where Ted, Ted Cord has been all this time. I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. Again, I don't really know much about Ted Cord. All I know is that I found out in this movie that he was the first Blue Beetle, and I was like, okay, it should be interesting to see where he's been all these years. And the final kind of end credit, because that was like the post credit I was talking about. Like this is the end credit, was like stupid. It was like this stupid video thing that they put over that was that Rudy put over, George Lopez's character Rudy put over to kind of make a distraction for, of course, Jenny and Jaime to break into the Cord facility to get, like, I guess the watch that they needed to go to Ted Cord's place to help Jaime try to take or try to find some information on how Jaime could take the scarab off, so that way they could separate each other from the scarab, so that way Jaime and his family wouldn't be put in danger. But of course, like I said, the only way to get the scarab off is by him dying. So I don't know. It was an okay movie. And in terms of rewatchability, I mean, I'm gonna buy it, of course, for the action sequences. I definitely think I'm gonna be skipping a lot of the movie until I get to parts with like the action and stuff. But yeah, because it was one of those things where it's like I did not buy Shazam Fury of the Gods. I said I was gonna buy it, probably never gonna buy it. I tried watching it the other day. It's okay. I wouldn't say it has even that. I would say that movie doesn't really have rewatchability, but I enjoyed that movie on the first time watching than I enjoyed this movie. Story alone, I think action was better here, but story alone over there I thought was better, and character development wise I thought was better over for Shazam Fury of the Gods and stuff like that, especially with the villains. of that movie. I thought was they were way better villains over there than the villains here in this movie. But I just think honestly, this movie does not have a lot of rewatchability in my personal opinion. I think if I'm gonna get this movie, like I said, I'm gonna skip through a lot of sequences. And that's pretty much it, honestly. Like, that's all I really got to say about the movie. It's gonna be really. I'm really curious to know down in the comments below, guys. Like, out of the three DC movies that came out this year, which one do you think was better? One, two. Do you guys kind of get where I'm coming from? Where it's like we've seen it before. Like, you know what I mean? With all like, you can't not help but make comparisons. You know what I mean? You just can't help but make comparisons. It's one of those things where it's like, I think we all needed to be prepared for that because there's a lot of resemblance in terms of the things that Blue Beetle can do, and especially the villains in this movie. There's a lot of resemblance that you know what I mean that you can't help but compare it to other comic book movies and shows. Like, it's just there's a lot, and I think you'd be it's crazy to not kind of see the resemblance and comparisons to other comic book movies and be like, okay, we've kind of seen this before. So that's why I didn't have a lot of shock factor in this movie and a lot of kind of grasp to the characters. I expected, if anything, that I would at least connect to the characters, but there wasn't even that. It's like we've seen the action before, but there wasn't any like connection to me with the characters, and that just really bummed me out. And it makes me wonder: do I even care enough to see this character go, again? Do I? Because I even asked myself at the end of the movie, do I actually like care to see this character again? I'm at the point where I'm kind of up in the air. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I guess it'd be cool. Like, you know what I mean? Because of course I would love to see Sholo again. Especially in terms of whether we get the same director or not. If we get a different director, it might be a whole nother story where like things might actually work out better, especially with us connecting with the family more. And in terms of story, like if it being paced a little better, I think maybe there's a chance where it could do better. In my personal opinion, it probably, where I think then I'll be like, okay, like again, if we do get another Blue Beetle movie, I'm gonna go to support Shola. That's an automatic. I think he's a great actor, and he's one of my favorite actors. I will go to support him. It's just one of those things where I kept thinking to myself, like, do I care to see the character again? It's one of those things where it's like it's kind of up in the air with me. Especially if this is the introduction to the new DCU, I don't care. I'm gonna be honest, like I just don't care. Which sucks. Like I said, I really wanted this movie to be fantastic, and I really wanted this movie to like be enjoyable. But like I said, the only enjoyable parts about this movie is the action, and it's like stuff we've seen before in other movies. So it's one of those things where I was like, oh, okay, like I mean, at least it was somewhat enjoyable when the action came around. Like that's when like things were enjoyable. But other than that, I was like, yeah, it was okay. It was just okay. Hell, my sister pulled up her phone at one point and was just looking at her phone. I was like, damn, man, like that sucks. Like, which sucked because I wanted this movie to be like, if this is going to be the first start of the DCU, I wanted it to go off with a bang. I wanted this to work. But if it is, man, in my personal opinion, I don't think it was a good start. I don't think it's a good start. Which really makes me worried because like, I gotta admit, this is definitely going to make me lower my expectations going into Superman Legacy, which I hate to say because I'm really excited for Superman Legacy. I love Superman. If you have been a part of the channel, you guys know I love Superman. That was the first character I fell in love with DC. The first DC movie I saw was Superman Returns. I love the character of Superman. I love the character. And I'm going to be honest, if this is the first kickoff to the DCU, it scares me for what is going to happen in Superman Legacy. It really makes me want to lower my expectations because I'm like, shit, that's not good if this is the start. Oh, man. But like I said, in reality, James didn't have a hand in this, so I can't really like lower my expectations, I guess, too much because it's like James is all in that movie, and I do have faith in James Gunn because, of course, the Guardians movies. So I have faith in him that, he'll pull it off, and there's a lot of heart going into, there's a lot of heart going into that movie, especially on James Gunn's side, of course, because he's making it out as kind of a tribute to his father, I believe so, if I'm correct. So that's why I'm thinking that movie will do very good, and James Gunn will make, finally do justice to Superman. I have a good feeling about this, but I have to say I am lowering my expectations of the world of the DCU if this is the kickoff, because it's just not, It's just very confusing in this movie. It's still confusing of is this canon? Is this the start? If it is, it wasn't a great start in my personal opinion. It's like I don't know. I'm kind of just still up in the air with what's going on with DC. I'm still confused with everything that's happening, what's canon and what's not. But I'm really curious to know what you guys have to say down in the comments below. Did you guys like this movie? Did you guys just think this movie was okay? Did you guys think this movie was good? Did you guys think this movie was fantastic? Do you guys kind of get where I'm coming from? Where there's just this movie's been done before. There's a lot of comparisons you just can't help but make to other superhero movies. Or do you guys think I'm just speaking nonsense? I'm really curious to know. Again, be civil down in the comments section. Again, this is just my opinion. It's like not something you guys need to get super heated about. It's just my opinion. I just think that Shazam: Fury of the Gods, I think story wise and character development wise, I thought was better than this movie. But I think the action was better here. But it's action we've seen before. But all in all, like I said, it was an enjoyable movie when the action came around. It was enjoyable. Would I watch it again? Probably not. I'll probably buy it. Maybe skip to the action sequences, but it's one of those things I think will just sit on my shelf, the DVD, probably. Like all my other DC EU movies have been just sitting on my shelf, pretty much. I've never rewatched them, so it'll probably be one of those things. But yet again, guys, that was the video. Again, here, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, post notifications, like this video. I'd love to have you guys here, part of the family, part of the channel. We're all about spreading love, positivity, and motivation. And yet again, guys, we are almost to 800 subscribers. That is the goal, to hit 800 subs. My initial goal by the end of this year is to hit 1,000. So if we could, bump past 800 and go to 900, that'd be amazing. How if we could get to 1,000 subscribers just in this video alone, that'd be freaking amazing. Also, some updates here for the channel. I will be having a chill stream tomorrow. If you guys want to talk for the people that did see DC's Blue Beetle, if you guys want to talk more about it tomorrow, you're more than welcome to come in the chill stream, and we can talk about more there about why I'm saying the things I'm saying here in my spoiler review. And all in all, I have a couple of videos ready to go for the chill stream. Definitely, if you have any other videos you guys want me to add to the chill stream, put them up in the Discord. My Discord is in my, if you go to my community tab and you scroll down, you'll find my post where I posted the Discord. I'll repost my Discord if you guys want to send some videos in the chill talk section of Discord, and I'll add them to the playlist for the chill stream tomorrow. And also, of course, I am starting Spider-Man Miles Morales on New Game Plus this Sunday over on my gaming channel over at Heroverse Gaming. If you go to my channels list on my channel, on my main channel here, you will find my Heroverse Gaming channel, and I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers over on my Heroverse Gaming channel. So I'd love if you guys, yet again, could go subscribe over there. Even if you aren't interested in Insomniac Spider-Man, which that's exactly what I'm doing over there right now. I'm focused on kind of as a countdown to the release of Marvel Spider-Man 2 come October 20th. I will be doing, of course, an unboxing of the collector's edition. Not only that, but I will be doing a stream of Marvel Spider-Man 2 once it releases as well the same day. So if you're interested in any of that, or even if you're not and you support me here, please go support me over there and just subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers, and it would mean the world to me. But yet again, guys, that was a video. Hope everybody has a great day, a safe day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.